Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. This time on the Sweetwater Minute, we have a very special guest, Bakithi Kumalo.
Yes, hi Mitch, how you doing?
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, well, it's an honor for us. You're doing a workshop for Kala Basses. And,
yes.
Excited to check on that.
I love them very much.
Yeah, very interesting instruments. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But you're originally from the Johannesburg, South Africa area.
Yes, I was born in South Africa, Soweto, which is a little bit outside of Johannesburg, and I grew up in Soweto until the 80s, 1985, when I joined the Graceland. And that's when
with Paul Simon.
Yes.
Right. Now you started playing very, very early. Was there a lot of music when you were real young? Yeah,
I grew up in a musical family. My mother was a singer. My grandmother sang in the church, and my uncle played saxophone, and my cousin played drums. So I grew up in a very loud house, and then, but at the age of 7, and I started to pick up the bass because of my uncle's band.
Okay.
I spent time with his bass player just to ask him questions about the bass and the strings and everything.
Right.
And since then, I just never stopped.
Right. What was it that drew you to the bass? What made you want to play the bass?
Well, it's funny because when my uncle's bass player used to practice at home, and his sound was so heavy, and it just hit my chest, and I feel like, wow, this is what I want to play.
Right.
I just love the sound of the bass, and but also I played the guitar. But the guitar wasn't really much my thing. The bass was what I wanted to play.
Okay.
So I just stayed with the bass and met a lot of people to teach me how to play. And
Right. So what kind of music were you playing when you were very young?
All the traditional South African music, and then also I used to listen to a lot of a cappella voices, the churches, when the people pass by the streets, and I just pick up some bass notes from them. And there was all kinds of stuff, there was, Count Basie, big band, Duke Ellington. My uncle used to bring all those records and try to listen to everything, blues and some R&B, Motown stuff,
Right.
Not really very much for South African traditional music because it wasn't recorded by that time.
Okay.
But a lot of American music.
Right.
I listen,
So a wide variety of things.
Yes. Because, the radio station, that's what they play most. British music and American music, and not very much the traditional stuff because it wasn't recorded at that time.
Right. Now you mentioned that you had watched another bass player and picked his brain a little bit about things. Did you take bass lessons or did you learn entirely on your own?
No, I just learned on my own, and by listening and watching other people, and I remember one time we went to Zululand with the band, and I was playing with my thumb like everything. But then when we got to Zululand, and then I had this dream, which is I've never seen anybody playing with the fingers like this. It was the first time when I got this dream, and the next morning, and I just woke up and then I started to use my fingers, and then everything became so easy, and then the tone and it changes because with the thumb the tone was more like, like almost like muted sound, but once I changed this with my finger, it was amazing. That dream just changed my way of playing, and then now I started to see a lot of people play like that, and somebody sent me a video of Stanley Clarke and Chaka Pastorius, and then I started to watch and learn from them as well, and see what they were doing.
Sure, absolutely. So how did you make the connection with Paul Simon when he was putting his band together for Graceland?
I think it's because somebody gave him the tape of the music of South Africa, which is one of the tracks I was playing the bass on it.
Okay.
And then he loved that music. That's when he flew to South Africa to put the band together. And they called me, which is already not playing very much, doing a lot of sessions. I was just working as a mechanic, trying to help my mother who was getting sick. And then my boss just called me and said, hey, this Paul Simon is in town. And Paul Simon, who's Paul Simon?
Right.
And he started singing the songs. And then I went to the studio, met Paul, and we just play music all day long, and just came up with beautiful songs.
Right.
So that's how I met. And then after that, he said, you know, we're going to have to finish the Graceland in New York. And I just could not believe it, because it was my dream to go to New York one day, but he made it happen.
Right, right. How wonderful.
Yeah.
So you relocated to New York and then toured with Paul's boat?
Yeah, with the Graceland. I mean, we play all over the world, and then I stayed in New York for a while, and I met my wife, Robbie, who's also a great musician. So I kind of stayed with her, and then she just taught me everything,
right.
you know, because even my speaking English was not really good.
Right, right. Yeah,
So,
big change coming here.
Yeah.
So since then, you've worked with a lot of great artists. Herbie Hancock, Gloria Estefan,
yes,
Cyndi
yes.
Lauper, a whole wide range of
yes,
people.
John Baez and Mamas and Papas, John Phillips, Mickey Hart, the Planet Drum, and just a lot of people. Randy Brecker,
right.
Diana Ross, Grover Washington, just a number of people.
Right, right. One of the things that struck me as I was listening to you play here before, while we were setting up for the video and earlier, is how easy it is, or how seemingly easy it is for you to establish a groove, even just playing by yourself. How did you develop that feel for time and groove in your playing?
Well, my first thing was the rhythm. You know, rhythm comes first than, you know, notes and melodies and everything. I want to make sure that my rhythm is comfortable before I play any other thing. Well, of course, growing up in Africa, you know, a lot of rhythms.
Sure.
So you have to start with that, and then later on you can, you know, add some other things. But playing with different people, really, I just pick up every kind of rhythm. And so it's very easy for me to play anything.
Right.
You know,
right.
I mean, I played with Eileen Ivers, which is Irish music. I had no idea that, you know, but because of the great rhythm, it's always easy to play.
Right, right. If somebody wants to develop that for themselves, how do you recommend that they go about learning that groove?
It's just, they have to take it slow, you know, because it's a long ride, you know, to get to that point. You gotta first know the rhythm and always practice with the tempo and slow. And just build up as you go.
Okay.
You know, and also make sure you're good friend with the drummers.
Right.
Because if you're not a friend with the drummer, then you're gonna be playing by yourself, you know. And you know, but you have to really also have a plan, because there's so much stuff going on now. I mean, other bass players, they tap and they got all the kind of stuff. You gotta pick the rhythm and just stay with that, and then build things as you go.
Sure.
You know, it's like building a house. You can't start on top and come down. You gotta go up, you know.
Sure.
So it's all about the rhythm. My stuff, it's rhythm. That's why too I know how to play drums, because it's important to have a rhythm.
So what do you look for in a drummer as a bass player?
A communication.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, we have to communicate and talk, and also the drummer has to help me so that I don't overplay things and while he's trying to do some things, which is something that I learned playing with Steve Gadd for a long time, because he will talk to me about, you know, how less I have to play so that, you know, the music just, you know, sounds all good together. Because if I overplay because my part is good and I'm excited, then some things that he's doing is not gonna come out nice because I'm overplaying stuff. So you learn. So the drummer has gotta be your friend.
Yeah, right. Right. Do you listen for locking in on the kick drum? Do you listen for the hi-hat, or what do you lock in on?
It depends on the song. You know, it depends on the song. Sometimes I listen to hi-hats and see what the hi-hat is doing and try to maybe lock into the hi-hat or the snare drum. You know, every section, like, you know, the verse, the bridge, or the chorus, the bridge, you know, I pick a spot. You know, not very much with the bass drum, maybe in and out with the bass drum, but most is snare and hi-hat.
Okay, right, right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this incredible bass that you have here. This is a Kala U-Bass.
Yes.
How did you?
Which is my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this instrument.
How did you encounter this instrument? How did you first find it?
Man, Rick Carlson and Mike, they built the instrument. But Rick has been a great friend of mine since the 80s.
Okay.
I met him when he was working for SWR. And we became friends, and then we lost each other until about 5 years ago when I went to the Bass Player Live. That's when I met Rick, and he showed me the stuff. And first I thought, oh, that's really nice, you're making a ukulele bass for kids, you know. And it's like, just play it.
Right.
And I played the instruments. I just couldn't stop playing. You know, I just kept playing. I just could not believe the sound that came from this instrument. And since then, I love the instrument. And now I'm playing every time. I play many sessions and many shows with it.
Yeah, right.
And I'm using on the Paul Simon tour also.
Right. You were demonstrating earlier the variety of sounds you can get out of this.
Yeah.
Can you show us some of the tones you can get out of this bass?
Yeah, like, you know, playing some jazz, you can use this kind of tone, which is much bigger sound. And then you get the brighter sound, which is more percussive, and it's good for when I do this kind of thing. No, and you can do some slapping too, but you know you don't have to hit it hard, because when you hit it hard, then you don't get a real sound. But you get like this kind of thing.
Right.
You know, it's almost like the upright slapping sound. And you can get harmonics.
Incredible.
Yeah. You know, just like a real bass, you know, and the strings are polyether strings, and but they give you everything you need.
Yeah.
Good for practice, good for any gig.
And it's a little shorter scale, right? 23.5 inches, I think.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little better for travel.
Yeah, it's better for travel, and also too because you can play higher, you know.
Right. Yeah, get all the way up on the neck.
Yeah, you can go up
great
there.
access. It's almost a cross between an upright bass sound and an electric bass sound.
Electric,
it's kind of somewhere in between, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you have the active bass and treble controls, so you can really shape that.
Right. You know, you can turn it up and down, and you get different tone.
Yeah, wonderful.
It's a great instrument.
Now, did you find that you had to modify your touch very much to play this instrument, or did what you do on the regular bass transfer right over?
Yeah, same thing. You know, from the regular bass to this, it's pretty much the same thing.
Right. So any bass
it's
player
just
can really
maybe the fingering it's a little bit different, you know, because it's a smaller scale. But you can do the same thing you do it on the big bass.
Right. Now this is a fretless that you're playing
That's
here.
a fretless, yeah, which is I prefer fretless for me. You know.
Right. Lets you do the sliding things and the
Yeah, you
vibrato
can
and
do
things.
like the Graceland.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really great. They also make a fretless version. I'm sorry, a fretted version.
A fretted version
as well.
Yeah, like
right?
I think one of these, like this one, the
back
5
one,
string.
Yeah. And there is a 5-string and 4-string version. So yeah, whatever you're into as a bass player, there's a Kala U-Bass for you.
Yeah. There's and you get this, and then you can use the acoustic as well, which is great. They have a fretless and a fretted acoustic.
So So the whole range is available.
Yeah, the whole is available, yeah.
Yeah, right. Now, what's coming up next for you?
Just getting ready for the next coming up tour with Paul Simon and Sting.
Right, that's going to be an incredible
Which is
tour.
very exciting, you know. It's going to be amazing for them together because they just got great music together.
Yeah, sure.
So it's real exciting. And then, of course, you know, my kids and everybody.
Right, keeps you busy.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Well, thanks again so much for coming in here.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to meet you and an honor to have
sir.
you here. We're looking forward to the workshop that you're going to give on the Kala basses. So lots of exciting stuff.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm going to be doing this a lot. And really, I prefer every bass player to play this, you know, and everybody, you know, like even the kids, there's no excuses now. You know, they can't say the instruments is too big. They can't practice this, you know, strings. They're hitting their fingers. Now all that stuff is gone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Now
now
you
they
really
can
have to
play.
play.
Yeah, they have to play. So kids, you better practice.
There, you heard it right there. Thanks, Bakithi. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much once again.
Our pleasure. I'm Mitch Gallagher. Thanks for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute.